Just when you thought the drama was over, Blake Lively has officially decided to sue Justin Baldoni. And it all had to do with harassment and what she claims is a coordinated effort to destroy her reputation. Of course, his team fired back, but let's get into what the lawsuit said. Allegedly, things got so bad on set that they had to have a meeting, and the meeting involved Ryan Reynolds because apparently the work environment was so hostile. The lawsuit has a list of demands that were told to Justin Baldoni during this meeting, like no more showing nude videos or images of women to Blake, no more mention of Baldoni's alleged previous addiction, no more discussions about conquests in front of Blake and others, no further mentions of cast and crew's genitalia, no more inquiries about Blake's weight, and no further mention of Blake's dead father. But there's more. Blake Lively also said she's not doing any more of these scenes outside of the scope of what she signed on to when she read the script. The suit claims the demands were embraced and approved by the studio, but in the end, the film flopped. Obviously, everything that had been mentioned, we can't speak on because we were not there, but this is the part I think people are going to disagree with Blake on. It flopped in part because of a huge conflict over how it would be marketed. Blake wanted a more upbeat pitch about her character's resilience, whereas Baldoni wanted the focus to be on domestic violence. I don't know if she's trying to say that had Baldoni done what she wanted with marketing, then the drama never would have happened. Who knows? Regardless, I still think had everybody been on board doing it her way, there still would have been backlash. But there's more. Apparently, Blake Lively claims that Baldoni and company then engaged in a social manipulation campaign to destroy her reputation. She's claiming that the campaign caused harm to her business and caused her family severe emotional distress. And yes, his attorney did respond, saying that this lawsuit is designed to fix her negative reputation, adding the claims are false, outrageous, intentionally salacious, with an intent to publicly hurt. Baldoni's attorney goes on to say that Blake Lively was a nightmare on set, threatening to not show up to set, threatening to not promote the film, ultimately leading to its demise during release.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Omomi aka Petite Diva, and this video is all about Blake Lively and a drama with a co-star director of the recent movie that she just acted, which is It Ends With Us. The co-star's name is Justin Baldoni. Now, this drama is long, it's confusing, it involves a lot of allegation of sexual harassment, allegation of being blindsided, and allegation of blacklisting. Now, apparently, like I said, Blake Lively, who is Ryan Reynolds, that's Deadpool's wife, acted a movie with Justin Baldoni. Now, Justin Baldoni, I think, was also the director, and Blake Lively was also like the producer. I don't know what happened, but when they were acting the movie, something happened that it got Blake Lively very stressed up, and she felt a particular kind of way. Now, when the movie launched, premiered, there was so much drama around it because Blake Lively was accusing Justin Baldoni of a lot of things, and the allegation, the accusation overshadowed the movie, and I think the movie actually did not do well. I don't know whether it was premiered in the cinema or on a pay-to-watch whatever platform. Anyway, after a while, she decided to sue him, make a formal complaint and everything. And then after some days, Justin Baldoni decided to sue her and also sue a media publication, that's the New York Times, for publishing things that she said or whatever. Anyway, they're both doing back and forth with their suing, counter suing, and the rest. And people have a lot to say about the whole situation. So let's check them out, and then I'll come back to share my thoughts.
The public's response to Blake Lively suing Justin Baldoni is absolutely sickening and makes me just lose faith in humanity. The fact that people can read the lawsuit and see the evidence, which is so clear and so blatantly showing that Justin Baldoni is a sick individual, and these people are still choosing to just bash Blake Lively. This is about the fact that this man orchestrated a PR takedown of this woman because he knew that he acted inappropriately on set. This lawsuit has text message receipts between Justin Baldoni and his PR PR team planted things on social media in order to sway public opinion, and Justin even said himself he wanted it to be like what they did to Hailey Bieber. And it all makes sense now because I was reporting on the feud between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni when the film came out, and I was just so shocked at how many people were willing to jump on the Blake Lively hate train. There is no such thing as a perfect victim, and just because somebody is not likable doesn't make them not a victim.
Blake came with the receipts. I'm Alex, I'm an attorney, and I am going to give you my thoughts. The gist of the allegations that Blake makes in this lawsuit are that Justin, her co-star in It Ends With Us, who is also the producer and also owns the production company Wayfarer, would make her very uncomfortable, would ask her about her sex life, would talk about addiction. He would kiss her when that wasn't in the script. Him and another producer would try and go in her trailer when she was topless. He would call other female cast members sexy. He would add sex scenes into the movie that didn't exist and weren't in the book. Blake alleges she complained to HR, they did nothing. And then there was the writer's strike. So production on the film stopped. Before production started again, she said, I got them to sign a contract that they can't engage in any of this behavior. And there's a whole list of it. I'll do another video on the allegations. Then they start the marketing plan for the film, which they had agreed upon, and nobody wants to do press with Justin, and his publicist and him decide that they need to hire a crisis PR firm to basically put out a smear campaign about Blake Lively and how difficult she is to work with. Her reputation is bad. Ryan Reynolds was getting involved. So she asserts claims for sexual harassment, retaliation, aiding and abetting, harassment and retaliation, failure to investigate or do anything about the sexual harassment, breach of contract, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence, false light, invasion of privacy, and interference with prospective economic advantage, which is like you're interfering with my future ability to make money. So you want to know my thoughts? My thoughts are that Blake came with the receipts. She attaches exhibits that include that list of things that everyone had to agree to before production for the film would start again during the writer's strike. She had text messages between Justin and his publicist, including messages between the publicist and the crisis PR firm lady, saying basically we're going to bury her, we're going to destroy her. We can't put into writing all of the things Justin wants to do. Justin and the production company and all these other companies that are involved in this are going to have some explaining to do. And I do not think that this lawsuit is going to be resolved quickly. This is not a situation where there's like a lack of factual allegations. Here, there are plenty of factual allegations, and they're supported by exhibits that are attached to the complaint itself. So it's going to be a long one.
While everyone has been dragging Justin Baldoni through the mud, I just want to say I never wavered in my thoughts and love for him. Justin, I just want to say, if you're watching this, which I hope you're not, stay on social media, it's a dark place. I've got your back. I've had your back when everyone left you. I didn't leave you. And to be frank, I didn't even know who you were until this year. And you're like my favorite. Anyway, he's been showing up with the receipts. And I just gotta say, like, I knew it. I never questioned if he was lying. I mean, but honestly, I just like him a lot now, and I have so much respect for him. And I think he rocks. I truly do. And I appreciate how he went forward about promoting their movie. I really, really respect that. And yes, we'll never know, like, the true sides, in my opinion, you know, to people's stories and their, like, riffs and stuff, but I just think it's really interesting the people who have sided with her versus him, and I'm like, that right there is your answer.
So there's something really interesting happening with media and social media that I'm seeing around this whole Jason Baldoni, Blake Lively lawsuit coverage. Now, I'm not going to get into the actual lawsuit and complaint and stuff like that, but what I want to talk about is the way that it's being covered and talked about, because in PR, it is pretty known. A lot of people know now that, like, when you're trying to bury a story, you publish it on like a Friday or the weekend, because that is the time when you're least likely to get a ton of media coverage on it. But what I think is interesting, being in the social media age and things like that now, audiences are not as reliant on media for information as we used to be, especially after the election. Like, a lot of people are talking about how they're turning away from traditional media now. And because of that, I'm wondering if that's playing into some of the tactics that some publicists are using to spread news. Because traditionally speaking, you would not release news about a lawsuit on a Friday if you want coverage of it. But given the fact that Friday before a holiday, when everybody's like off of work and doing with their family and everybody's chilling, not doing anything, yeah, media might not be covering it, but everybody on social media just chilling. And I find it interesting that Blake released her lawsuit again that Friday before Christmas, and Justin released his on New Year's Eve, a holiday next to another holiday being New Year's Day. I don't know. I just think this is so interesting. And I wonder how that's going to play into crisis comms. And this is just getting my brain turning, because I have not seen it used that way. But like, looking back at it, it makes sense. So, and obviously, like, there are ways you can use legal documents as a way of conducting PR. Like, that's definitely a thing. But seeing all this play out has been very fascinating to me.
Y'all, the drama between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively just went to a whole new level. Justin Baldoni and about 10 other plaintiffs, including the PR people that he hired to do his crisis management and the producer of the movie It Ends With Us, have just filed suit against the New York Times for the article that was written that kind of gave us Blake Lively's side of the story. And it is filled with some juicy, good, backhanded, double twisted, all kinds of wordplay games that they say Blake Lively and the New York Times were playing. The interesting parts is that the New York Times article talked about this text message exchange between the two PR people about this Daily Mail negative article on Blake Lively. And in that exchange, one says to the other, wow, you really outdid yourself on this one. And the response was, well, that's what you hired me for, right? Well, turns out that the New York Times omitted the exchanges above that one that were basically saying, hey, we're joking, and taking credit for a story that originated organically. And then after that, there was an upside down smiley face kind of signifying that it was sarcasm. And the New York Times cut that out too. Not a good look for you, New York Times. Another question is, how did Blake Lively even get those text messages to start with? Her lawyer says it was through a subpoena, but Blake Lively never filed a lawsuit. She filed a complaint with the government, but she never filed a lawsuit. And you don't get subpoena power until you file a lawsuit. So either they lie in and somebody gave them to them, or they hoodwinked the person on the other side of the subpoena, which I highly doubt, because this is a very sensitive area and they would have had legal counsel look at it who would know you don't have the right to subpoena anything from me until there's a lawsuit filed and a case number at the top of that subpoena.
You cannot go on the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni roller coaster, because it's really more of a seesaw. So it's a media war, a court of public opinion war, in addition to a court of law war. And the reason that's problematic, not unlike a revolting divorce, is that the personalities here both have a vested interest in their media personality currency. So there is a lot of financial damage being done to both of them right now because of the media battle, because of the court of public opinion battle. They're both taking severe hits. And what's happening is each person's PR team wants to get their word out. One side files something, the seesaw goes to one side. The other side files something, and the seesaw goes to the other side. But in each case, it's so the person experiencing it on each side, like in a nasty divorce, wants to get their thoughts in. They want their words in. And it's like killing every roach in Manhattan. They're telling their publicists, but get this in, but say that, but leak this, but tell this. And the publicists want to do it also. The problem is the lawyers are fighting a completely different battles. The lawyers are not fighting the same battle that the publicists are. And what often happens is the client is fighting with the plaintiff, and the defendant are fighting. Then the client and the publicist or the crisis publicist are fighting too because they want to get the words out. Then the publicist is on the lawyer's ass, and the lawyers don't like sideshows. The lawyers are like, basta. I have my own legal battle to fight and deal with, and let the butter melt. And they have 2,000 other cases. This isn't the only important thing. Maybe currently the most shiny object, but they will be in court all day and have to deal with other things, and it makes the clients crazy. And the only thing I can say is, like in Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, no matter who was right or wrong in the end, both people were severely tarnished after. It does serious damage because both parties become toxic during something like this. So it is not for the faint of heart. And you have no idea what actually happened. None of us were there on that movie set. It sounds horrible and tragic and terrible for everyone involved, but it is a long journey, and I don't wish it on anyone.
Why this text from Blake Lively that's supposed to be so incriminating about her saying, hey, come over on lines, I'm just pumping, is wild to use as ammunition. First and foremost, because anybody who's ever been a pumping mother, a breastfeeding mother, knows it takes 15 minutes to pump. Unless you're doing something fancy like power pumping, but most likely, whatever, 15 minutes. Now, by the time you have your pumps on, you've settled into your couch with a glass of water or whatever beverage you're trying to be sipping on. You sit down, you pick up your phone, you're already 2 minutes in. Okay, so she's sending this text, she has 13 minutes left to pump. Me or any normal person is going to assume it's going to take more than 13 minutes for this person to look at their phone and decide they're going to change their clothes, whatever, come on over to my trailer. Also, if I'm sending a text that I'm pumping, that is a great indicator that you need to knock on the door before you come in case I'm still pumping when you arrive. But chances are I'll be done. I can't tell you how many texts between my mom even and me, my mother-in-law and me, they're saying, hey, I'm 5 minutes away, and I'm texting them back, no problem, I'm pumping. Just like that. And they knew I'll come in the house, but I won't come into her room. Also, I have a feeling this is not one of the times he walked in on her, because he said, I'm finishing up lunch and then I'll come over. Chances are the 15 minutes is long gone by then. And this is probably a text exchange that started because maybe he had already walked in on her once. Maybe she's letting him know that this is happening now. But that's just my gut. Could be totally wrong. I'm sure they both did things wrong, but this is wild to think that this is incriminating.
What I think went down between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni in less than 2 minutes. So I think they genuinely went into it thinking that their collaboration was going to be amazing. I think Blake and Justin are similar in the fact that they're very ego driven. I think that they came into this film thinking that they were going to create art and collaborate and make something sort of groundbreaking together. These are the type of people that think that acting and making movies is basically on the same level of curing cancer. Things started to go sour. I think that there were a lot of power struggles between them. I think Justin definitely was overstepping some boundaries, was kind of inappropriate and crossing a whole lot of lines. And I think all of that in combination prompted Blake to come up with that list of demands that she would need to have met in order to move forward with the production. And I think that the moment that Justin saw that list, he knew that he was on thin ice. And he knew he had to be very, very careful about what he did, what he said, and who he said it to. From that point on, their relationship and the production was pretty much unsalvageable. Did Blake then kind of turn lemons into lemonades and more or less maybe hijack things a little bit? Probably. And if it just came down to butting egos, I think that the two of them could have faked it for the press coverage, right? I think that they could have pulled like a Cynthia and Ariana and been sitting in interviews and, you know, complimenting each other and saying how each other are just these brilliant, wonderful souls and how moving it was to make this film together. But I just think it was that bad that they could not be in a room together. Something very significant had to have gone down. Then fans picked up on the distance between the two of them. The press went wild with it. And now here we are. And they're both throwing mud back and forth and painting narratives about the other person.
Believed Justin Baldoni since the beginning. I trusted my gut. I knew my instincts would never be wrong. I'm not believing her until I see the proof. okay? This whole situation is why women don't speak up about all the harassment that they have experienced from the workplace, from their husbands, their boyfriends, etc. Sure, Justin Baldoni came out with the receipts, and there might be, she might be lying. Here's the thing though, even though he did have receipts, do you know how many misogynistic boys and girls, women and men alike, are gonna start thinking that more people who come out with these allegations are lying? Me personally, I will always believe women first. And if I'm wrong, so be it. I believe the wrong person. No one gets hurt. I was just dumb. Let me support the man. And I find out that he actually did everything he was accused of. What does that say about you as a person? Just because he is your favorite person, actor, singer, artist, whatever the fuck, does not negate the fact that they can still be a bad person, you know? Like women, we have to do so much better. Let's do better at this, come on.
Finished reading Justin Baldoni's lawsuit against the New York Times, and a homie came with some receipts. He did. Now, I also read Blake Lively's complaint that she filed with the CRD, which I guess is not an official lawsuit, but I'm not an attorney, so I'm not claiming to be a professional. But anyways, I read Blake Lively's and I was like, oh, like, this is crazy. I always knew something fishy was going on. And then I just finished reading Justin Baldoni's and I was like, there's so many receipts. Like, I don't know who to believe. I'm not taking sides. I just enjoy the tea. Like, these are rich people that I do not know and cannot relate with. So reading their drama is entertaining for me. But I feel like this is lining up to be more entertaining than Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's trial was. Just like with all the he said, she said. I will say that Justin Baldoni's complaint makes more sense to me than Blake Lively's did. And I hate siding with the man, but I'm not taking sides. I'm just...
Beware the people who claimed that Justin Baldoni came in with all the receipts. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Well, I'll say a little bit more, but you can go look up those receipts yourself. And in fact, you're going to have to, because those people are not actually including those receipts in their posts about this. In fact, they're regurgitating the Baldoni narrative. I was seeing these videos and I was waiting patiently for them to include said receipts, and it was starting to really annoy me that they weren't. So I went to go look for them myself. Beware the people who are acting as though Justin Baldoni is showing up with all the receipts. The main thing I'll say right now is that the receipts he brought are using Blake Lively's complaint. The receipts he brought are mainly about the New York Times mischaracterizing certain things in very I would argue minute ways that don't really prove his case very much at all. They don't absolve him in many ways, but sure, whatever. They're mad the New York Times didn't include every single little detail that was included in the pages and pages of evidence filed by Blake Lively's team. Also, they claim that the only reason she filed the complaint was to not file a lawsuit, and they were using that as evidence. They're banking on that being reported in the news and you not understanding that the complaint has to be filed before you can file a lawsuit, okay? And I already see these people on here repeating that, being like, it was suspicious that Blake only filed a complaint. No. She has to file a complaint before she can file an actual, lawsuit, which she has done. And it was done, right after his team filed their suit or whatever complaint against the New York Times, which should show you that it was already in the works and was prepared to be filed immediately. Those things take time.
Don't mind me. I'm not leaving my bed today. It's New Year's Day, and this is my gift to myself. I have 3 kids and a job and a life, and I'm very busy, and I don't need to tell you why. But I want to talk about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. All right. My intuition is not wrong. It's never, ever, ever wrong. And I know that sounds like I'm being braggadocious or whatever, but this is the truth. It's just not wrong. I just can feel things in my body and I can know it. And I don't know how I know it. Okay, so whenever the stuff came out about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, and they were saying that there's this big smear campaign that was done towards her. I did not. I was like, my spidey senses were going off. Like, there's more to the story. There's more to the story. And I started even though I know my intuition is right, I would see posts like, all this evidence, and it just shows how strong the patriarchy is, that we just don't believe women. And I started to be like, oh my God, am I a misogynist? Am I, do I somehow, am I not seeing the full picture? Is my intuition wrong? And I want to report today that I'm saying this video out loud so that I have this as evidence, because I always want to kick myself when I'm like, I knew it. And I'm sure if you have a really strong intuition, you experience this all the time too, where you're like, something, but then you kind of like are a little bit worried, like, well, hell, maybe I'm wrong. And then it comes to pass and you're like, I should have trusted myself. Okay, that's where I'm at with this. There's more to this that's coming out with the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively thing, because I have followed him since he was on Jane the Virgin. I've followed his parenting style, his love, like his relationship with his wife, listened to his podcast. We can all be imperfect, but I know enough about him to know that he is more conscious than he's being portrayed, And whenever all this came out about him in a smear campaign, I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly what this is. This is a big projection. They're actually doing to him what they're saying that he did to her. And that was what my intuition said. Now, I'm saying this now, and if I'm wrong and it comes to light that, he's this horrible person, and that I am actually just, blinded by all of my biases, I will come back and make a video and admit it. But I don't think my intuition's wrong. Never been wrong. Let's wait and see. What do you think?
I have secondhand embarrassment for Justin Baldoni's agency, WME. I have embarrassment for the award company that took away his award. I have embarrassment for his co-host that decided to side with Blake Lively before Justin Baldoni could tell his side of the story with his receipts and with his proof. I will never understand with this day and age how you cannot wait until somebody else tells their side of the story. Specifically with his agency dropping him like literally right away, not even 24 hours after Blake Lively orchestrates a smear campaign on Justin Baldoni with the New York Times article. What is that saying in America? Innocent until proven guilty. So I'm confused why his agency, why that award company, why his podcast co-host would all side with Blake Lively right away before hearing Justin Baldoni's side. It doesn't make sense. I hope that Justin Baldoni, lawsuits them. I think that we are going to see lawsuits with his agency, WME, with the award company, possibly his co-host for his podcast, definitely Blake Lively, but he is just getting started. His lawyer has said that there is going to be multiple lawsuits. Also, I think there's going to be a lawsuit with Sony. Read his side of the story with Variety. There is a lot of evidence. There is a lot of proof that it seems like Blake Lively took things out of context that would fit her story and narrative.
Folks, we are 30 seconds into 2025 and the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively mess is getting messier. Lucky for you, I have created a flow chart to bring us all up to speed. Number 1, left is now right. Number 2, up is now down. Number 3, nobody knows what is going on. Did Justin Baldoni enter into Blake Lively's dressing room unannounced and uninvited, or was he invited via text message? We don't know. Did Blake Lively have to fight for an intimacy coordinator to be hired, or did she decline to meet the intimacy coordinator who was hired before production started? We don't know. Did Justin Baldoni's team orchestrate a smear campaign against Blake Lively, or were they shocked to find out that the smear campaign that they had planned to orchestrate wasn't necessary because it all happened organically? Once again, we do not know. Here's what we do know. If I continue to open my mouth and talk about this in any capacity, I'm gonna catch a lawsuit. So I'm going into 2025 minding my black business. I suggest you do the same. It is above us now.
Justin Baldoni has come with receipts. Lively is finished. He has said that the New York Times basically cherry-picked and altered communications and didn't give any context to anyone, which is true. He has text messages of Blake asking him to come to her trailer while she was breastfeeding so that they could discuss the next scene. He also has correspondence of Blake asking for the costumes to be sexier in the film, which really doesn't corroborate any of these claims she's been making about the fact that he was sexually exploitative. His lawyers have said, while their side embraces partial truths, we embrace the full truth, and we have all of the communications to back it. Public will decide for themselves, as they did when this first begun. This is the same journalist that took down Harvey Weinstein that released Blake's article, so Baldoni wouldn't be trying to take them down if he did not have the receipts. This is Mean Girl Blake coming out. It didn't go her way, she tried to fight it, but Baldoni is showing that he's not gonna back down.
This is really giving Amber Heard Johnny Depp. Now, personally, what do I think about this whole situation? Now, when I first heard about all the drama that was coming out, all the things that she was saying, when the movie launched, premiered, I was wondering why she did not talk about it before it launched and try and just make everything not premiere. I don't know. I just felt like if there was a situation that made her very, very uncomfortable and several situations that made her uncomfortable, she should have talked about it earlier. But I felt like maybe she just wanted the movie to premiere and then later on she'll talk about it. But it was just weird that it was at the time that the movie was premiering and people were not really like feeling the movie, that she decided to start making all those allegations, started to make public those allegations. And I don't know why, I just thought that maybe because the movie did not do well, and I think she's the producer and he's the director, and maybe she put a lot of effort into it, I don't know, and she felt like, okay, she was not going to take the blame for it flopping, so this is what she was going to, she just decided to share all that occurred. And maybe she was using that to give an excuse of why maybe the movie was not that good, I don't know. But I was just wondering why she was talking about the drama at the time when she was supposed to be actively marketing the movie. But I felt like maybe I was wrong and I was not having more information about the whole situation. So I didn't bother about it. I just moved on. But when I found out that she was suing him, making a formal complaint, I was like, oh, maybe this is more serious than I thought. But anyway, I'm not really ready to like research and see what she's talking about. Then I saw some days ago that Justin Baldoni decided to sue New York Times for $250 million. I was like, hey, is it that serious? And also sue, I was like, wonderful. He's also suing her husband. And I was like, whoa. Because now, some of the things that people have used to think that Blake Lively might be saying the truth was the fact that they said that a lot of the cast and crew of the movie and some other people are not taking his side, they are taking her side, they are blocking him or following him, whatever they are doing. So that there's a possibility that he's actually guilty and she's saying the truth. One of the reasons that people said that situation might be occurring is the fact that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are A-list celebrities. They are powerhouse, or Ryan Reynolds is a powerhouse in the entertainment industry. And the man is making money from other things that are not entertainment or related to the movie industry, because I believe he has a football club in the UK or something, and also has a whiskey brand, or is it dry gin, I don't know, but he's making money from other ventures, and he is someone that can pull his weight and blacklist people. So I was saying that I don't know if the cast and crew are supporting Blake Lively because she is right and they saw that he did some of the things that she is alleging that he did, or they are taking her side because they don't want her and her husband to blacklist them and prevent them from getting jobs that would enable them to earn income and progress in their career. So I don't know. I was just like thinking about that before I saw that Justin Baldoni has sued her and her husband Ryan Reynolds for blacklisting or trying to blacklist him. Anyway, I don't really know so much about this whole thing, and I've not really like checked and really read through all the information that has been provided by both of them. Some people are saying Blake Lively brought receipts, that some people are saying Justin Baldoni brought receipts, counter receipts and that Blake Lively is lying. Some people are saying Justin Baldoni is creepy, blah blah blah, and the rest. But personally, I don't have any opinion about the whole situation. The whole situation is just giving me Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation initially when it came out, and how people just started taking Amber Heard's side and dragging Johnny Depp because Johnny Depp is actually problematic. But I just feel like people should not take sides without having more information or having more his context about the whole situation or the history of both of them. Personally, I'm not ready at this point to dig into it and decide who I feel is right or wrong, who I feel is lying, who is saying the absolute truth, and who is saying the embellished truth, or who is saying their own version of the situation that occurred. But I don't know what you guys think about it. If you have gone through all the information, not the one that that the media shows, because sometimes these media houses be doing some things and be covering up some things that is in the court document, or just picking out the ones that are sensational so that they can grab people's attention to check out their content. If you have really like checked it, I don't know what you think. Do you think that Blake Lively is over dramatic, over exaggerating the issue, or do you think that she's telling the truth? Do you think that Justin Baldoni is being wronged in this situation because Blake Lively and her husband are powerhouse in the entertainment industry, in the movie industry, and they are trying to like blacklist him, trying to like subdue him, and trying to just run him out of the entertainment industry because he's not on the same level with them? Do you think he's saying the truth that they're trying to blacklist him? Do you think that some of the things that Blake Lively said, she is dramatizing it and that's not how it occurred? I would love to hear your own thoughts, so please leave your comments in the comment section so that we can get this discussion popping. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not yet subscribed and you like videos such as this, please consider subscribing by clicking on the red button that says subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell notification icon by the side so that you're notified anytime I upload videos. Now, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.